This is Teresa. Hi, everyone. This is Teresa here in Healthy You, Healthy Life Facebook group. Welcome if you're able to pop on, or if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for checking in and seeing what we're up to this week. So I've been kind of playing with doing different themes weekly on our Facebook Live, from anything from an interview with Jen Sprague, who is a health coach, to interviewing some people, which you'll see down the road, and inspiring you with different tools around creating a healthy lifestyle. That is definitely my intention. Yes. So anyway, so today's topic is all around healthy habits by design. And what I mean by this is in creating a healthy lifestyle, my interest is in empowering you in bringing intention to it, to really create the health that you want in your body. And I believe that our habits that we take every day really create the health in our body. It's not just by chance, it's not a default, although genetics certainly play a part of it, but more and more we see, and there's a lot of science around that, the actions we take to take care of our bodies truly create health in our body. So that's wonderful and empowering, I think, in lots of different ways, but also it can be kind of like, oh man, it's all up to me, right? Kind of this dichotomy sometimes that we deal with can be a responsibility that can feel like a lot. But no matter what, I want it to feel like it's something that's attainable and doable and reachable for each of us to create a lifestyle with healthy habits that are sustainable. So as a health coach, I'm kind of speaking today from a health coach perspective of how do we create these healthy habits? How do we do them and develop them in our life? And I have this place that I come from around from my health coaching perspective that is, it's often we know what to do around health and wellness, or we can certainly find out. There's lots of different places that teach us about health and wellness. And I'm always somebody who's very interested in continuing my education and continuing to learn things around that. So by all means, there's always an opportunity to kind of grow in that area, for sure. However, a lot of times it's not that we don't know something that's the reason that we're not taking action. It's something else that's going on. And that to me is where it's really kind of juicy and interesting. I would say it's like our thoughts, our points of view, even from our past and how we were raised, right? That kind of direct us in how we take action or the actions that we take. And these aren't necessarily good or bad. They serve us sometimes, and sometimes they don't serve us, depending on what those beliefs are. But I think what's most important is to bring awareness to them and have a choice about it. Because a lot of times they're kind of just running in the background and have us take actions that aren't always serving us, right? Or stopped us from taking actions that we'd like to take. So that's what this conversation is about, is to kind of bring a little bit more awareness about that stuff and have us be a little introspective about it. So it's our thoughts and beliefs about ourselves, our relationship with food, and how we think about a healthy lifestyle that has us take certain actions. That is kind of where I'm coming from. So if we never kind of look at what are those things going on and we try to fight it, I know I've got to exercise, but I believe exercise is hard, and inside of that, I don't enjoy it, but I've got to exercise. It's like I'll always be fighting it, and there's always this energy around it. What I'm saying is, what if we could kind of shift how we see exercise And that comes in a lot of different ways. It comes from kind of like bringing awareness to what is that thought and how could I see it differently, as well as kind of just going and experiencing it and seeing how it can feel different in our body and have that experience as well. So it comes in in lots of different ways. I right now am actually doing a course because I enjoy education around health and wellness called Feeding Littles. My sister-in-law actually shared this resource with me, and I thought it was like so interesting and really great. And it's like a registered dietitian and occupational therapist who talk about feeding toddlers really and how to create like a really great relationship with food from a young age. And I've gotten a lot of really interesting things from this. So if you have little kids and are interested in that kind of thing, I thought it was such a cool resource. I can pass it on to you. But they talk about actually like kind of intuitive eating, which some of you have perhaps heard of intuitive eating, as like, how do you teach that to children? Some of us, whether we know that concept or not, probably use it in our everyday life anyway. But what are some of the beliefs that, so inside of this course, they're talking about like, how do we create this eating experience that doesn't necessarily create negative experiences around food for kids, that has them learn to listen to their own body. That's what intuitive eating is, providing great food and resource for them, and then they get to choose and learn how to feed their body and listen to their own fullness cues and hunger cues. However, some of us have, from our childhood, kind of have rules that we live inside of and perhaps might be still running the show. For example, cleaning your plate. I think that's a general one that's been passed on, like cleaning your plate club or whatever, however you want to say it, but cleaning your plate is a good thing to do. And so you have to eat all your food before you can then have dessert or something else. I used to kind of have that going on, and through learning like intuitive eating, like decided, oh, I don't have to eat everything on my plate. It's okay. If I'm not hungry, I can, or I'm full, I can listen to that and stop eating, and it's okay. I used to think of it more as like an environmental issue, like I was impacting the environment if I didn't eat all the food on my plate. And it's kind of this like weird, like it's a little too big of a gap to really have that be real. So anyway, it was kind of this belief that I was operating inside of that wasn't necessarily serving me, because I'd eat all my food whether I was really hungry or not. So is that something that's a judgment inside of, or thought that you have, or a rule that you're living inside of that's directing your actions, versus that you actually have a choice to stop eating when you're full? So that's just a thought. Or another example is you have to eat all of your veggies and then you can have sweets. So remember, this isn't a good or bad way to look at things, right? There's value in eating lots of vegetables and having that in your world, but that could create this kind of resistance, like, well, I have to do something before I can then enjoy my food. It could create that kind of relationship versus like, here's our food, and then we're going to have this dessert afterwards, and you can eat all your food and choose. Like there doesn't have to be this rule around it that then has you relate to sweets in a certain way as a reward for eating food, versus like, what if you could just enjoy and have pleasure in eating your vegetables? So there's this, I hope that makes sense. There's some different ways anyway that in our minds that we look at food that has us operate, take actions in a certain way. So that's kind of the point I'm making here. Now, what do we do with all of this, right? And there's lots more, like perhaps maybe more in the teen or adult world, counting calories, or are there certain foods that I should be avoiding that aren't as good for me, and therefore I have to avoid them completely, and then I resist that and I want it because I can't have it, and it creates this whole thing. So there's some different like kind of judgments and points of views that have us relate to food and health in a certain way. And an example around health or lifestyle, like I kind of brought up exercise a little bit, like kind of one of the things that I've had to deal with is I have this judgment or thought that exercise should be hard and sweaty. Like that's how it should look. And okay. However, sometimes I don't always have the opportunity to have a hard, sweaty workout. So do I then not exercise at all and I feel guilty about it? No. What if I could shift how I look at exercise? What if exercise could be like in my clothes I wear every day, moving around, doing some body weight exercises, maybe getting a little bit warm or sweaty, but not having to be drenching in sweat. And that counts too. That's okay too. So for me, this has been really cool. And then I don't have to feel like that. There's no like it's all good. It's okay. And when I do have the opportunity to do a hard, sweaty workout, I enjoy that as well. So I've been running with Aiden for a while. And over the last couple of weeks, it's gotten really cold in Michigan, like 20 degrees cold. And running with Aiden was just not enjoyable, not fun, and concerned about Aiden. Like it just didn't work anymore, right? So I had to switch how I was relating to exercise. I've been doing this program that's about like 20 minutes right in the playroom with Aiden. Sometimes I use weights, sometimes I don't. I use body weight, I use bands, I kind of tie my hair up and I wear the outfit I'm in for the day. And I'm able to work out for about 20 minutes. I feel great in my body. It works for me. And it's a part of what I'm able to do. There's ease to it and it's fun and I enjoy it. So I altered my context around exercise so I could make a different choice that took care of me and was accessible with where I am right now. So I encourage you to take a look at the context, which includes your judgments, your thoughts, your point of views, conclusions that you have about health, about yourself. Do you deserve to be healthy? Could be something to look. Is there a conversation about that? Do I deserve to spend the resource, whether it's time, money, energy, to take care of myself? Is there some conversation about that? Is there my relationship with food? I gave some examples about that. Or my relationship around exercise or movement or any other aspect of a healthy lifestyle. Is there a context, or like what are those contexts? What are those judgments, thoughts, point of views, conclusions in the background that are operating that have you take action? Are they empowering to you or are they disempowering? And if they're empowering, keep them. Awesome. If they're not empowering, could you shift them? What else could you say about that? And start to take a look so you can create, so that you actually can be intentional and therefore then creating this healthy lifestyle that you really are interested in. So that's what I have today. Hope that's helpful and some good food for thought, and love to have a little conversation if you're interested in that at all. One of the aspects I think that's really cool about this is this has inspired me to coach, honestly, because I've worked with so many people around health and wellness through my Shaklee business, through what I do, and as a personal trainer, like all of this, right? And I'm often like, well, why do some of us take action and why are we stuck? And so when we get stuck, it's so important, I think, to have someone to be able to help us see what I see is like the blind spots, those things that might be going on that have us relate to health in this way that stop us perhaps from really achieving what we truly want. So anyway, I just want to share that piece of myself and why this particular conversation I think is so interesting and important. And thank you, Jen, as well. Such important work to discern between empowering, disempowering beliefs. Yes, exactly. Cool. I know you do great work in this area as well. Yeah, I think anybody who's a coach can kind of relate to this topic for sure. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you for doing that, and hope that this conversation sparks some inspiration for you. All right. Have a great week. Bye, everyone.